Good afternoon, third grade champions. Good to see you. We are going to continue with Puppy Place this afternoon. Hope you've been enjoying this book. I certainly have. And we're already about halfway through. We're on page 47, Puppy Place by Ellen Miles. Charles sat in an old lawn chair where he would be out of the way, while Dad and Steve worked at the arch. Freckles lay down next to him and let Charles pet his head. Dad split wood with a hatchet while Steve fed the fire. Soon a cloud of sweet-smelling steam was rolling off the boiling sap. "Will it be syrup soon?" Charles asked. The bright, late winter sun warmed the top of his head. Freckles was already snoozing, and Charles felt like he could fall asleep too. "Not for a while," Steve said. "If you want, you can take Freckles into the cabin and give him some food. I left sandwich stuff out on the counter too. Make yourself some lunch." "Make us all some lunch," said Dad. "We're stuck out here minding the fire and the sap." "Really?" Of course, Charles knew how to make a sandwich, but he'd never been in charge in the kitchen. "Okay," he stood up. "Come on, Freckles," he said, patting his thigh. Freckles jumped right up. He gave Steve one quick glance and then followed Charles to the cabin. Charles filled Freckles' bowl with kibble, then got going on the sandwich making. He worked happily in Steve's kitchen with Freckles at his feet. He set out 6 slices of bread, spread mayo and mustard on them, added some lettuce he found in the fridge, and then carefully laid cheese and ham slices over that. Once in a while, he pretended to drop a little piece of cheese, just so Freckles could hoover it up. Finally, he cut the sandwiches in half like Mom always did and piled them on a plate. He grabbed a bag of chips from the counter and headed outside with the food, Freckles trotting at his heels. Steve was right. This dog wasn't about to run off anytime soon. Freckles really did know a good thing when he saw it. "You're just in time," Steve called when Charles put the plate down on the old picnic table near the sugar shack. "We're about to draw off some finished syrup." Chapter 5, page 50. Charles joined his dad and Steve by the arch. The billowing steam made a sweet cloud that fogged Charles' glasses. "See? Take a look at the thermometer," said Steve. "The sap is up to 118 degrees now, which is just about perfect." Charles squinted at the old brass thermometer, but between his fogged up glasses, the cloud of steam and the tiny numbers smeared with years of wood smoke and syrup, he couldn't make out a thing. "Don't worry," Dad said, laughing. "I couldn't read that thermometer 10 years ago, and now it's even more tarnished and worn." Steve set a tall metal canister beneath the tap at the side of the metal pan and turned the valve so that hot, golden syrup began to run out, filling up the can. "Wow," said Charles, watching the syrup flow. "That's enough for like 1,000,000 pancakes." "We'll put this into jars and I'll send you home with some," said Steve. "You won't believe how good it is, fresh off the arch." Charles and Dad smiled at each other. Sugaring was hard work, but it was about the most fun hard work Charles had ever done, especially with Freckles around. He was so curious about everything. He loved to follow Steve everywhere, watching him closely. Charles had a feeling that Freckles was tired of living on his own and ready to settle down. The question was, where? Usually, Charles and Lizzie worked hard on finding homes for the puppies their family fostered, but he didn't know anybody up in Vermont. Well, except for Kit Smithers, Lizzie's favorite author, but she had already adopted one of their foster pups and wasn't looking for another dog. Late that afternoon, Dad and Charles were about to head back to the inn. Steve said, "I think I'd better pick you two up in my truck tomorrow morning. The dirt road is just getting muddier and bumpier these days with the temperatures going up and down. I don't want you losing your muffler or getting stuck somewhere." "Fine with me," said Dad, taking off his work gloves. "Are you sure you don't want to come to town tonight and let us take you out to dinner?" Steve shook his head. "I'm not going anywhere as long as this sap is still boiling," he said. "Anyway, I'm fine here on my own. I'm used to it, you know." Dad nodded. "We'll see you tomorrow then." Charles didn't want to leave Freckles. The pup was getting friendlier and friendlier as he felt safer and more comfortable in his temporary home. He'd even come up to Charles a few times looking for a treat. He would lean against Charles' leg, gaze up at him with those golden brown eyes, and wag his tail. I'm beginning to trust you, and I like the way you scratch the top of my head. How do you know exactly the right place to do that? It feels so good. I'll see you tomorrow, pal, said Charles as he and Dad left. He gave Freckles one more of the special treats he'd bought at the general store in town. Then he gave the puppy's head one last scratch. At least Freckles was happy at the cabin, even if he couldn't come with them to their inn. As soon as breakfast was over the next morning, Charles sat on the glassed-in sun porch of their inn, watching for Steve's truck. It was windy and cold outside, and the sky was flat white. Suddenly, it felt more like winter again. He remembered that the innkeeper had told him last night that the weather was likely to change. What time did Steve say he'd come? He asked Dad. Charles couldn't believe how much he missed Freckles. He had a feeling that today would be the day Freckles would be ready for some hugs, and he couldn't wait to throw his arms around the soft brown and white pup. Dad sighed as he checked his watch for the 10th time. Steve's not always too exact about timing, he said, but he'll be here soon. He needs our help up there at the sugar bush, so I'm sure he won't forget us. Finally, Charles saw the dark blue truck pull up in front. Steve's here, he said, jumping up to run outside. Would Freckles be in the truck? Charles hoped so. Then they would share the back seat while Steve drove up the bumpy, rutted road. Maybe Charles would get that puppy hug right away. Steve climbed out of the truck and Freckles leapt out after him. Freckles, Charles cried, opening his arms. The pup came running over, wagging his tail. Hi, friend. Hi, friend. He sniffed Charles and let him scratch his head, but when Charles tried to hug him, he pulled away. Charles was disappointed, but he understood. Freckles was still a little shy. It's okay, pal, he said. I get it. I'll be patient. Hop in, said Steve. We've got one more stop to make. So we're going to stop there on page 55. Thanks so much, third grade champions. Really enjoying this book with you. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.